Well, hello there, everyone, and a good afternoon to you on this 20th of May, 2020. It is about 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. I want to talk about the little drop in the price that we had earlier today, and just kind of talking through some things here. Um, Let's see here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. I'm seeing some messages in the Discord. I will address those questions on the Discord here in just a little bit. And of course, speaking to the Discord, if you want to be part of our Discord, just throw in a comment here in the YouTube chat. I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. And let's go ahead and get into things. All right. So we had a drop in the price in Bitcoin earlier today. We've got people saying, "Oh, some early Bitcoin moved." Whatever it may be. I don't really care about the news. I like to trade the chart, right? That's what matters the most here. So let's go ahead and take a look at things. So yesterday we were talking about a potential move up to 11,500 or so. And that really relied a lot on this channel that we're currently in remaining intact. And what a lot of people were taking a look at, a lot of people were looking at this wedge, and actually we were taking a look at it yesterday. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this for right now. I'll put it back in. But what a lot of people were watching, what a lot of people were paying attention to was this. So let me just go ahead and outline this here. We're going to start from the top right here, pull ourselves over there, and then we come down to here. Okay, so we've got that bottom, we've got a touch up here. We potentially could move this down just a little bit if we wanted to. I think a lot of that is still valid, but we broke down. And so when we were talking yesterday, we were looking at that, and I was basically outlining two different scenarios that could happen. One would be we would push up above, we would retest this, and then we would move up. The other one would be where we would fall down, we would do a retest, and then we would continue, right? Okay, so we've broken that trend, right? And that trend is identified by this rising wedge that I had also outlined here as well, which was taking us up to that 11,500 target. I was looking to say that we had to move up and up into this. We were looking by the end of the month. Okay, by the end of the month, we were looking for this to really come to fruition. We were looking at 11,500. Okay, so as of right now, it's looking less probable that that is what actually happens. We now have this guy right here to pay attention to. All right, so let me just zoom in on this. So this price action that we've got going on right here is pretty important, okay? So again, we've got our bottom over here. Let me see if I can just get this. I'm most interested in candle bodies. I'm not interested in wicks because, as you can see, there's lots of wicks in either directions to basically kind of get those over leveraged traders. And so this is something that happens all the time. We see these wicks. But what we haven't seen in a while is a strong move, and then the price continues to consolidate there. So now what I'm looking at two potential areas that we'll need to reclaim, which are these two trend lines right here that are sort of converging on each other right now. And again, let me move to a higher time frame. I'm going to move to a 4-hour, and let's just take a look and see what we've got, what we're working with here. So let me just kind of move in on this just a little bit and see what we've got to contend with from a support and resistance standpoint. Okay, first off, we've got this guy right here. This is pretty important, actually. This is what we bounced off of. Okay, we've been holding that for a while. I'm going to change the color of these so that it's easier to see it. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. Okay, there we go. So you could definitely see we've got resistance here. We had a little bit of a cluster here before we broke up, and then we fell through it. We had a little bit of cluster here before we broke up it, and then finally retested it. And we have tested this, gosh, how many times? So we tested this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times that we've retested this since we broke up above it around the 13th, 14th of May. Okay, so we broke up above that. So this is going to be our support that we need to hold. Okay. So this right now is sitting at about 93.25 or so. Well, maybe we'll just call it 9300 just to, just to kind of be nice and even Steven on this. We move this down here to 9300. That's what we really need to be paying attention to. That's about right, about 9300. If we close a 4-hour candle below 9300, then I believe we have a higher probability of moving our way back down to about 8800 to 8850. We were talking about that a while back when we were looking up here. We were saying, okay, well, there's an A and a B and then a C to come down here to 8850. Or at this time, we're really looking at about 8800. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But in the immediate term, let's again move back up into this. We have our important trend line down below. So we're going to use that guy as a basis. Actually, I'm going to move back up to a 3-hour here for just a moment. Because what I want to do is I want to take a look and see this range that we're currently in. So I'm going to pull up this parallel channel and I'm going to take this bottom right here because we've got a nice bottom right there, and then move this all the way up to the top, and let's just take a look and see what we've got. All right, so we've got lots of clustering right here. This is support that we have been trying to hold at 95.25. Okay, and let me just remove the shading on this so that it's easier to see that. Okay, so we've got our range here. Now we've got support here, we broke through, then it was resistance. And right here at the median, you can see we had resistance here, we broke up, and then we came back and this was resistance. And again, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and the 7th time we broke down. We're currently trading below that. All right, so this is the range that's important to me. All right, getting back up above 95.25, especially getting back up above 9,700. Okay, if we can get back up above 9,700, which is going to be, right around right here, if we can get back up above that guy, because again, we have resistance here, we've got more resistance here for several 3-hour candles. We broke below, we had a little bit of resistance, we had some clustering right above it, so basically we swung low, we swung high, and then we failed. Okay, and if we can't get back up above 95.25, I'm not going to go long. So as I've been explaining over the last several days, I've been short from, I want to say roughly 9,800, 98.25, somewhere in that range. And I was also long from about 9,600. Well, my long is stopped out, so now I'm net short. I am net short right now. And I would really like to see this guy, and we're starting to move just a little bit. If we can get back up above 95.25, and especially closing a 3-hour candle or a 4-hour candle above 95.25, then I'll look to get back in my hedged long position. But as of right now, taking a look at this, it's not looking great at the moment. If we take a look at the algo, so what we can see here, we have the red candle, which is indicative of a bearish cross on the 12-hour. We have the 21 exponential crossing below the 55 exponential. So, I mean, it's only $7 apart, not huge, but the longer we trade below 9,700, and especially below 96.72 at this point, the more that those are going to diverge away from each other. And also, again, this is still unconfirmed because this could easily just pull itself right back up, and that would cause this cross to not occur, right? So that's why you always wait until something is confirmed. But it wouldn't surprise me one bit for us to come back up here to this lower, which is going to be at about 95.82, maybe 9600, before it ultimately does reject. Okay, so are we out of the weeds? Like, are we not going to 11,500 anymore? I mean, I still think the probability is that we are going to go down, but I think that there is a small degree of probability that we can still go up to 11.5. I'm not saying that this is a buy the dip moment because, again, taking a look at our oscillators that we are always paying attention to, the 3-hour looks awful, the 12-hour looks awful, the hourly, I mean, it's an hourly, it's just kind of meh, I can definitely see a bounce here, but I think that this bounce, in my opinion, is for a short-term scalp. Again, I'm net short right now. I am not long. If I do get long, it's going to be a small scalp position, which I'll be looking to get out somewhere in this range, especially the 21 exponential. If we take a look at the 21 exponential and the hourly, The last time we crossed below was right back here. This is the last time we really crossed below. And we have attempted to cross below right here. We made an attempt to cross below and it didn't get confirmed. We didn't end up actually making that happen. Okay. Now we are attempting to cross again, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit for this thing to move up and to fail. And then we, again, likely go lower. Again, we already talked about this. Watch to see what happens at 8,800. Watch to see what happens down there, because it's possible that we do go down to that range. Okay. Let's also take a look at one other thing that I do want to point out, and I'm going to go back to the BLX chart, and I'm going to move. I've got a lot of garbage in here, so let me just go ahead and clear this all out again. I'm going to move to a weekly chart so that I can get a lot of this data here. I was sharing something in our insured chat just about a day ago, and I want to kind of talk through what it was that I outlined. So first, I outlined using the GAN fan, starting from the very top up here and moving my way down here to the bottom. Okay, and I have a specific measurement that I've been paying attention to, and that is the 8/1. I'm actually going to remove the others that we've got in here. All right, so we had basically an expansion perfect to this. Also, as we know, I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible. From up here, from the top to the low, which was about right down here, as close as possible as we can, pulling this on a linear scale. We pulled up to the 618. Okay, and the high probability target to the downside to that is going to be your -236. Let me just pull that in here if it's not there. The -236 is there, and that's going to take us actually into negative territory, it looks like. I'm not seeing. Well, at any rate, we're looking for a move down further. We're looking for a new low. And we've been talking on the Discord again earlier today that we are potentially going to see lower prices on Bitcoin. Where that's going to land, not really sure just quite yet. This is, it's a highly volatile market. But again, going back to the GAN fan, okay, sorry, I digress. I'm going to do another one, because what I did was I was taking our dominant pivot high to our dominant pivot low, targeting the 8/1 pullback. All right, so let's do this again. And what do we have? It's like a perfect overlap that this trend line is so important for bulls. Okay, once we start closing above this line, which currently is at 11,300, 11,250, and where were we talking? We were looking at 11,500, right? Are we going to get there? If we cross above this, then I am uber bull. Like, I was bullish on March 13th, right? I outlined that. I spent a good hour on a video. You can go back and take a look at it. I spent a good hour talking about why I was bullish on March 13th. I want to say this was like maybe the 14th or 15th I actually streamed this. But this is the ultimate line to bulls, right? We need to break above this. And what's likely going to happen if we do, it's going to break up above it, we're going to come back, and then we're going to launch, okay? But that's got to happen, because as of right now, we're not really doing anything special. We're not really doing anything special right now. Sure, we've got, trend line after trend line after trend line. We're breaking it, we're breaking it, we're breaking it. That's something Kryptonite was talking about on the Discord server earlier today. This is the one that is important. This is the one that is extremely important for us. And again, I'm on a log scale, and I'm using the 8/1 on our GAN fan, right? So again, that's here where we have our fib tools, where your pitchfork is, your fib retracement. Look at the GAN fan. That's going to be the one that we have to pay attention to, this trend line right here, because it was perfect, right? If I drew a trend line here, it would overlap this like perfectly. So watch out here. I don't want to get too caught up being extremely bullish or extremely bearish right now, but I will say that this looks like we're probably going to make an attempt up here to maybe 11.1, 11.2, maybe not 11.5. If we do get up there, I'm going to take the opportunity to short big time if we do get up there. And if we break up above it, well, then that trade just didn't work out. Trading is about taking risk. And if you're not willing to risk it, then you're not going to make it. Okay. Trading is not buying and holding. It is about being adaptive to all the situations that you have in front of you. And right now, I think that we are either topped out here, or we are going to make one more little push up to 11.1, 11.2, maybe 11.5, and then we're probably going to pull back significantly. And significantly meaning we could be pulling back as far as 2,500. We could be pulling back as far as 1,100, right? So, well, what I'll just say, one last note, and then I'll go ahead and end this video, is this level right here, which not a lot of people are talking about, back here first, and then the next level is going to be right down here. Obviously, we had some clustering back here, but we haven't retested this in any way, shape, or form. Not that we have to, right? Not that we have to, because if you take a look back further, back here where we made our new high, right? We flew through that and we had a little bit of clustering, and then we flew up again. And now when we did this cup, right, we clustered here, we pulled up, we pulled back, we went up, we pulled back, we went up, we pulled back, we went up, right? That didn't happen back here as much. Like, yeah, sure, there were several like significant pullbacks, but once we broke up above this high, we only pulled back once, and then we had a big move up. When we pulled up above it this time, back in 2017, we had 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3 pullback, 4 pullback, and then of course we have this bear market that we have been in. And I will say that we are still in a bear market until we break out of this, okay? Again, being in a bear market doesn't mean that we can't have 400% gains, because we can, right? We can have 400% gains. I mean, look at this right here. There's 345% that we had in 2019. And so far this year, I think we've already gone up 100 and some percent. There's 145% that we've had from our low this year. So just because we're in a bear market doesn't mean the price can't go up. A bear market doesn't mean the price only goes down, okay? I mean, take a look at SPY, right? I do think that SPY is in a bear market, but the price obviously has gone up significantly. So this trend line is important for us. Let's keep an eye on it. Take the opportunities as they come. And again, going back to Bitcoin on BitMEX, going back to the hourly, we're trying to push up. We need to get first above this 95.25. Then we need to push up above this level right here, which is about 96.38. Ultimately, I would love to see us get above 9,700. If we can pull up above 9,700, then, I mean, the degree of probability that we go up to 11,000 is so high at that point. I'm willing to take that risk. But again, currently I'm short from about up here 9,800 and something, and I am not long anymore on my swing account. So I am not long. I got stopped out at about 94, and right now, of course, we're at 95. No big deal, because that was a loser anyway, because I was long from all the way up here like 96. So I'm out of that long position. I'm currently short. I actually shorted Ethereum right before we had the big fall, and I took profit already. So that position is closed. So again, I'm just net short on Bitcoin right now. I'm really not in any alts at this time. I do have some alts that I am holding long term, but it's not anything that I'm too concerned about. Again, net short on Bitcoin. I do have some long-term holdings, but we're looking for 9,700 to be reclaimed. If we can get back up and reclaim 9,700, then I'm back bullish. But right now I'm short-term bearish, especially with the 12-hour cross. We had a bearish cross here in the 12-hour. Again, we had a bullish cross back here. We had a bearish cross at the same price. The bullish cross did follow through a little bit, but then it failed significantly. The bearish cross confirmed, and it so far is successful. If we get back above 9,700, then I will look back into going long again. I guess as long as I've got a little bit of a window where my long and my short do not overlap with each other, I'm okay with that. But I want to see 9,700 be reclaimed. Ultimately, I would love to see us, retest this 21 exponential and get a fail on that. That would be ideal to see that occur. But currently on the hourly, trading below the 100, the 55, and the 21 exponential. These three moving averages, the 55, the 21, and the 100, are all going to be clustering around each other. And yeah, I think it's probably going to be something where it's going to be significant resistance. This one right here sitting about 96.29. So keep an eye on that. I do see that we do have a decent amount of viewers on here, so I'm going to kind of go off the beaten path just a little bit. I want to take a look at a couple alts, if that's okay. If you don't want me to look at alts or anything, I'll be more than happy to just end the video here. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up my alts watch list and see what some of these look like. So we've taken a look at Bitcoin. Let's just quickly take a look at these and see if any of them are actually worth buying right now. So let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash. Is Bitcoin Cash worth buying? No, it's not. It looks, again, very similar to Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Ethereum, right? So we talked about the short that was taken on Ethereum. I already talked a little bit about that. We're currently trading below the 100 exponential. It looks a little stronger than Bitcoin, but still, ultimately, it doesn't look good. And this trend line right here that I've already got outlined, likely from all the way back here. This is still holding, so that's at about 210. So keep an eye on that. A move back up above 209.50 probably means we're probably going to go back up to maybe 212 or something like that. But again, also you've got a trend line here, which is going to be significant resistance if we get back above that. This is classic. Just taking a look at this, this is what everybody was looking at, right? Everybody was looking at, we've got a flat top wedge. I even mentioned it yesterday. We've got a flat top wedge. We're going to break up out of this. We had a rejection above it, and now we had basically a rejection to the downside, and it's currently holding, right? There was no absorption, whereas we had some absorption here, we had some absorption here, a little bit here, and then we had the red cross. Again, the red cross on our waves indicator, and then that's where basically it just fell, right? I'm not buying that this has anything to do with old Bitcoins that were being moved. This was a move that was going to happen. We were just clustering around that 21 exponential on the hourly here on Ethereum, and eventually it's going to break in one direction, and then when it does, we were looking at that 55 and it fell down below. We're currently trading below the 100. So, it looks bearish right now. It looks bearish. Let's see here. We've got Dash that currently tested the 200 simple moving average on the hourly. And it looks like, maybe it wants to move back up, but it doesn't look good. Let's take a look at Manero. Does Manero look good? It looks like probably this one is also, yeah, it's not looking good. A lot of these are probably not going to be looking good right now. Probably another push down for a lot of these to the lows that we had earlier today. I won't be going long unless we get another push down. Another significant push down. So this also is not looking good, at least from the standpoint that we are looking for. We're looking for our waves indicators to be all oversold, and right now a lot of these things are still overbought, and they're just moving their way slowly into oversold conditions. We're seeing some rejection at some of these moving averages, which is to be expected. Even BNB is still looking like it has longer to go. We were taking a look at NEO. Let's take a look at this trend line, which we had been watching for a while, and we broke down below that one as well. And this is the first time we've broken down below. We even had a bearish retest on this. Honestly, NEO looks really bad right now. We've got the bearish cross on the 21 and the 55, so this one is not looking very good either. We were ultimately talking about Ethereum Classic being a buy earlier. I didn't take any action on that. We had, we had the 3-hour, which was down pretty low back here. But we didn't have, a solid buy on this. It didn't match the criteria that we're looking for. So actually, I do think Ethereum Classic is probably going to push down again. Just taking a look at this, I think this is probably worthwhile mentioning. Just taking a real quick look at the way this chart looks. I'm going to move to a 3-hour chart. And let's just see what this looks like, because what I can see here is we've got this. I'm going to remove the thick body on that. And we've got this guy right here as well. We fell down, right? This looks like what we kind of are looking at on some other charts, right? So we've got basically rejection, and what we've got here is we pulled down here, and where did we get rejection from? Our lovely 618, which means Ethereum Classic probably is going to go down to $5.03 over time. That's going to be our algo target, because again, what you've got here is you've got what appears to me to be like a W, X, Y, and then we've got basically our, our potentially an A, B, C, and then we have our next move, which is going to be, this is going to be maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make our way back down to $5. Now, maybe it's not going to get there, and it could very well be that it doesn't go down that low. But let's just look and see what we have as far as supports at the $5 level. Let's go to a daily time frame and see what some of these moving averages are looking like down there. Not seeing anything there. Let's move down to a 12-hour. 12-hour? No. Oh, but this is really interesting. All right, so I'm just going to blow all this away. Let's just take a look at this. We have the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour. Just take a look at this. It's beautiful. We've got rejection, like a cascading waterfall rejection that we're seeing here on Ethereum Classic. So, in my opinion, let's just go ahead and do this. And I don't know if this is something that you guys have access to, but what I would love to see is a move above the 200 exponential. So I'm going to set an alert here on Ethereum Classic, and if I can see this crossing up above the 200 simple moving average, I'm going to do once per bar close. So I'm going to be looking for a 12-hour candle closing above the 200 simple moving average. If that happens, I do want to be alerted that Ethereum Classic is bullish on the 200 simple moving average 12-hour time frame. If that happens, then I think that we do have potential for a move to the upside. So this is looking good if we push up above that. Right now it looks bearish. But let's see here. Actually, I need to change this. We want the price to cross up above the 200 simple moving average once per bar close. There we go. That's how I want that to be set up. If you've never set up an alert before, that's how you would do it. You want the price on Ethereum Classic versus US dollar crossing up above your indicator. In this case, I want it to cross up above my 200 simple moving average. I want this price to close, once per bar close, above the 200 simple moving average. Once that happens, then I'm going to be looking for this. And I actually have this moving average configured as the 300 moving average, which is currently crossed up. So if this crosses up right now, it's looking like a move from $6.63 to $7, which isn't significant, but over time, I do think that it will continue to increase while the 200 simple moving average decreases. Now, if this starts to curl downward, if our 300 starts to curl downward, that's going to be a little different. The Boiling Crypto is talking about Ethereum flying. I do believe that Ethereum has significant potential to fly. I do completely agree. I want to acknowledge the fact that if Bitcoin does capitulate again, I will probably not be buying Bitcoin. I probably will be buying. We were talking again on the Discord earlier. I probably will be buying Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, and Chainlink. Those are the ones that I'm really interested in. I think Ethereum Classic has some merits to it. We'll evaluate, see what it looks like then. But I want to wait for the next capitulation cycle on Bitcoin before I make any decisions on what I am going to buy. Alt versus Bitcoin pairs are probably looking pretty atrocious right now. So I'm going to take a look at Chainlink real quick. That's the last one that I really wanted to take a look at here because it looks very strong. It looks very strong. We're getting the 12-hour cross here on the 12-hour. Let's just take a look at all of the indications here. It does look pretty strong. It does look like we had a little bit of a bullish retest right here. You can see this right? Bullish retest there at 393. So very possible this one is going to defy Bitcoin and just continue to move up. But watch what happens here at 420. Okay, we had resistance there at 420 already. But look at all these moving averages, right? Up until here recently, all these moving averages were just kind of clustered with each other, and things are looking overbought. But Chainlink is one that has kind of done the opposite of what you would really expect it to do. But again, talking about alts versus Bitcoin pairs, probably not looking too hot right now. Let's take a look at Litecoin versus Bitcoin. Probably looks pretty bad. Yeah, this one looks pretty bad. This one is, currently trading below the 200 simple moving average on the hourly. It just does not look good. Let's pull this up on the daily. Daily looks absolutely atrocious. All major moving averages are crossed negative. We don't like to see something like this. On the daily time frame, Litecoin versus Bitcoin looks atrocious. Let's take a look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Ethereum versus Bitcoin on Binance, not as bad, right? So we were talking about this again. This was back here, but we're still in the positive on this. So this one still looks a little positive. You can see that I've got a significant amount of counts that I've been putting on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. I'd been sharing that with the Discord, but upside target for this at 0.0275. We're still not out of the weeds. We're still below the 21 exponential on the daily, but the 55 is still trading above the 100. So if we can take this above the 21 exponential, I think this has potential to move up significantly. So again, this goes back to what the Boiling Crypto on the YouTube chat was saying. If we can overtake this 21 exponential, I do think significant upside potential is likely. Going back to an hourly, look and see what just happened here. So Bitcoin dumped, but Ethereum was fully absorbed, and it's actually currently trading above where it dumped. That's a sign of strength, in my opinion. Ethereum does look stronger than some of these other alts. So we've got that. We've got that for us. Let's take a look at Ripple versus Bitcoin. Just take a look at a couple of the big boys, then we'll go ahead and end the video for today. Ripple, same thing. Ripple looks stronger than, say, Litecoin. Again, let's go back and take a look at Litecoin again. This one failed. This one looks weak, okay? Very weak on Litecoin. But Ethereum versus Bitcoin, it dumped, but it was absorbed and actually went higher. It's still trading higher, okay? Ripple versus Bitcoin, again, it didn't even dump. It pumped when Bitcoin was dumping. It's maintaining its price versus US dollar, probably losing some as well. But I would be willing to bet it did not lose as much as Bitcoin did. And now as Bitcoin's moving up, Ripple is moving down. So it's probably just equalizing. But nonetheless, Ripple looks stronger. Ethereum looks stronger. Litecoin does not. Let's take a look at Chainlink. Chainlink versus Bitcoin, very strong. Chainlink versus Bitcoin is very strong. I would love for it to come back here and retest 14,550, but Chainlink is pretty strong. Now, it is in a strong 12-hour uptrend. So on a longer-term time frame, it is on an uptrend. And you can see back here, this is where we had our bullish cross on the 12-hour. Okay, and when it's all the way down here, people are afraid to be buying. And look what happened. Like, yeah, it went down, but look at what happened. And look where it is now. Significant up move on that. And the 12-hour is only halfway up, right? So this could potentially have more upside to go. On a daily time frame, take a look at Chainlink again. Let's take a look at a daily time frame. And okay, yeah, we are currently trading above all major moving averages. Of course, the 200 exponential is above the 200 simple moving average, which is a strong buy, right? And we crossed back here, right? So it was right back here where this thing crossed, and it's been kind of moving around quite a bit. A lot of chop here, right? We're talking about days, so we're talking from all the way back here on March 5th or something, all the way up to where we are right now. So, but this is a little bullish. It looks good. It looks good. We were trading yesterday below the 100 exponential, and just this day we have crossed the 100, the 21, and the 55. If we can continue trading above 42,000 Satoshis, again, this has room to go up. It looks good. And the last one that I'm going to look at, and I'm going to do this just for the sole purpose of used underwear because he likes to talk about this all the time. Let's take a look at ZRX. What does ZRX look like? Let's go to the hourly. Looks pretty bad. It looks, ooh, it does look pretty bad. Sorry to say. This right here, this is now our resistance. That's going to be at about 35, 36 cents. The next level is going to be right here where our 200 exponential, which is at about 36.5 cents. A lot of major moving averages are cross bearish, and the 100, the 200, the 100 exponential to the 200 simple moving average are about ready to cross as well. So it does not look good. ZRX does look like a bit of a sell for me right now. So I would just be very careful buying into that. The 3 hour, yeah, the 3 hour is crossed bullish, but after we had the fallout here, after this failed, it's not looking very good. Bitcoin again kind of sitting there at about 95, 95.40. Let's just wait and see what happens if we do make a test up here at about 96. But again, last note, 9,700. That's what I need to see before I get back into any long positions. As of right now, I'm just going to sit back, wait, and see what happens. And I suggest that you probably do the same. Although that is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. And if this video did help you, oh, all right, Albus, sorry. Let's take a look at Tezos. All right, fine, XTZ. Let's take a look at Tezos. All right, so on the hourly, this does not look, this is very choppy. I'm not sure what exchange I was looking at. That looks better. All right, currently trading below the 21 exponential. This is going to be your resistance right here. I don't know if you're already in this or not. It doesn't look terrible right now. We did have a test of the 100 exponential, which is okay. The hourly Stokes do look like they're about ready to cross up a little bit. But you want this thing to take over $2.83. If it can take over 283, then I think it's still a good hold. Let's see here. Anything else in the chat? Take a look at Neo. Let's take a look at Neo. All right. Oh, man. I wish that TradingView would automatically choose a decent exchange. So again, I was looking at Neo earlier. This white trend line, which is what we were looking at from all the way back here, right? All the way back. This is on April 27th, right? And that had held, right? That held once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and we just failed it, right? So we failed that trend line. So I'm going to be bearish on Neo, at least for the time being. Unless this thing could overtake this 200 simple moving average on the hourly, which is currently at $10.16. Man, I can't believe we are at $10 Neo. It's just amazing. I remember back in the day where I was like, oh man, Neo at $100 is such a good deal. I mean, look at this. Yeah, back in the day, 2018, that's gone. So yeah, you know, we're sitting up here, you know, from a support and resistance perspective, we've got this guy right here, which has been sort of, you know, huge resistance on Neo. Let me remove my moving averages here for just a second and just take a look at this. This level right here, going all the way back, you can see over and over and over. What do we have? Well, we've got resistance, support, 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 resistance, support, 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 resistance. Okay, so that level right there is pretty darn important. And that's sitting right there at about $10.50. If Neo can overtake $10.50, I think it's got room up to $12.50. That's, I mean, that's a $2 move. You're talking like that's, I'm just guesstimating it's probably about 20%. Am I right? If this moves from 1050 to 1250, yeah, I mean that's right there at about 20%. That is a decent move to the upside. Yeah, I mean, will it get back up there? You know, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Let's just take a look here from this dominant pivot high to this dominant pivot low. Where did we reject from? To the tick, right? This is why technical analysis works sometimes. I mean, to the tick. That is at $11.83. and we went up to $11.82.8. That is a perfect rejection of the 618. So no, I wouldn't buy NEO right now. I would definitely wait for a more significant pullback. And where would you look at for supports? Well, you can definitely look at horizontals. Let me draw the horizontals first, and then we'll take a look and see if that matches up with any fib levels. This level right here, first level I'm going to be paying attention to right there, $8.07. We'll call it $8. Next level is going to be this one right here. That's going to be at about $6.83. Now let's see if this matches up with anything from the bottom to the top. What do we have? We have the 50 right here, and we have the 618 right there. Those two levels are going to be levels where I might be interested in buying, but I'm not interested in buying here at $10. I'd be more interested at $8 or at $7. Those would be the levels that I'd be interested for NEO, at least for the time being. I think unfortunately, with this, it could be that this thing does push up a little bit more, maybe pushes up to maybe $11. I don't think it's worth the risk for me right now. When I look at something, and again, if you're on the Discord, you have access to my stock videos that I do. And I go through about 100 to 150 stocks over the course of 30, 40 minutes that I've done here. And I quickly take a look at these and I say, okay, no, this is not a buy for me right now. Maybe it will be tomorrow, maybe it will be in a week, but it is not right now. Okay, I have my watch list that you can see here. These are all of my Binance coins that I'm keeping an eye on. You can see I've got a lot on here. And if you're in TradingView, just tap the space bar. Just go from one to another. This is a no for me right now, right? So just watching these to see what these look like. And I always take a look at my oscillators. It takes a second for them to come up. But if this is overbought, I'm not going to buy. If it's oversold, I might buy. I have a higher likelihood of buying when things are oversold than when they are overbought. And right now, a lot of things look overbought, even with the little dump that we've had. So, all right, I think I got everybody. I got Tezos. I got NEO. Let's see here. All right. Well, hey, Suat, Albus, the boiling crypto, Citan, Todd, thanks for joining, and thanks for coming in here. And yeah, if this video did help you, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you are having a good day, a good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.